Let me guess. You're going to put this up on the internets. For the likes, right?
There's this comic that I think about often. Maybe you've heard of it. The first panel depicts a stick figure bringing a cake to a party, lamenting how the other cakes look far nicer than his. The next panel then shows a random partygoer, ecstatic at the sight of two delicious cakes at the table. The reading that most people would take from the comic should be that a creator shouldn't have anxiety about the art they create, as their audience would be more excited about the wealth of great art rather than parsing between what art is good or bad. This message used to reassure me that I was still a great creator regardless of my view count. Now it frustrates me. Do I have to wait for some random person to decide my art is good? How many views, followers, likes do I need before my art has value? At this point, it feels like it would be easier to cut out the middleman instead of waiting to blow up and make it big. But is that even possible? An easier way to answer that question would be to propose a different food analogy. Say you get hungry and you fancy yourself a sandwich. You could drive over to a restaurant to order one, or maybe ask a friend to make one for you. Instead, you root through your fridge for ingredients. You end up crafting one beast of a sandwich. It's kind of sloppy and uneven, but you sink your teeth into that sandwich and it's the greatest thing you've ever tasted. Maybe not the greatest, but it's pretty good. A pretty mundane scene, right? Sure, but I feel like there's value in making your own sandwich, or in this case, making your own art. We all have things we like to do for enjoyment, art we like to consume. We could go watch a movie, or search up videos on YouTube for stuff that vibes with us, but there's something special about being able to create the things we want to see in the world. Isn't it kind of crazy that we have the ability to make our own favorite paintings, stories, and songs, and we only get to see its great art when it hits 1 million views or something? If it makes you happy, brings you joy, then it's good art. More than anything, I think as creators, we don't consume our own art enough. Reading our own stories, listening to our music, watching our own videos. Our audiences shouldn't be the only ones who get to enjoy our art. Last year I started cranking out speed paints and gaming montages for my main channel like crazy. I was trying to push myself to try and make the channel blow up, but I wasn't getting results. I'd often study my videos to try and figure out what wasn't working, but I'd find myself lost in my own work, watching hours of my own videos and having a blast. I really loved the videos that I made for the main channel and this one. It's a blast reminiscing on a journey to bring these videos to life. In razor focusing on elements that connect to me, I tailor-made art that I can always enjoy. I find myself more proud of the work I produced. One important thing about how I watched my videos is that I rarely watch them on YouTube. Same goes for looking at my art. I try not to look at them on social media. Having all of your stats in your face can cloud your perception of your work and make you devalue your achievements. I always try to look at my work in the folders of my computer, a neutral display that allows me to focus on the execution of the art, what I enjoy about it, and what I'd like to improve in future projects. Everything I just said can be chalked up to just make art for fun. For any small creator, these words are more condescending than supportive. This advice is usually echoed by big-name creators with millions of fans who worship the ground they walk on. They don't need to have fun when everyone and their mom is telling them how great they are. While I still believe that creating for your own fulfillment is important, I can definitely relate with the desire to captivate an audience. It isn't always about popularity. We want to see if our art has impacted anyone, if it made people think and feel. When we don't get any likes or retweets on our art, we believe that our art isn't good enough. Maybe the issue isn't with our art, but the places we post them, or even the size of the party. Looking back at that comic, I wonder what kind of party the stick figure was going to. Was it an intimate get-together or a massive house party? Maybe it was a Thanksgiving feast, where comparisons between the quality of different dishes might come up. I bring all this up because if the comic acts as a microcosm of social media, then it might also give us an idea of the correlation between the size of these platforms and the kind of reception we get. Think about the response from the other stick figure. He didn't seem to care about the quality of the cakes or even consider the different aspects like the flavors or decoration. He was just concerned with the amount of cakes at the party. When posting to social media, you're a drop in the sea of content. You're competing with millions of other users for time in the limelight. With the large amount of content out there to discover, some users might not be concerned with giving any random piece any nuanced thought. I found that when interacting with small communities, I have a lot more fun discussions about my work. I'm talking real small, really small, like 11 people in a Discord channel small. It's easier for work to be seen in small places like this, to find like-minded creators and have engaging conversations. It can't be a one-sided conversation, however. The concerns you might be having about your art are the same ones millions of people feel every day. Everyone needs encouragement. If you want to cultivate a thriving community that is invested in your creations, you need to give the very thing you desire. Comment on people's work, support them with your time and money. Get excited when your peers achieve success. When you give back to a community, they'll give back to you. The biggest challenge to creating art is getting started. The thing that prevents me from gaining any momentum in my projects is the fear of the silent void. It's the echoing stillness that confirms all of your insecurities. You put out that piece of art or post that video and it gets no reception. There's no comment, no views, not even a pity like, no one to encourage you or even insult you. You're not even worth the disdain of a random passerby, or even anyone's time. You're worthless. These words echo in my head as I try to push through with my projects. Why even try when the same thing will happen and no one will ever see or appreciate your hard work? Listening to that fear might feel reassuring, that you're lessening the sting of disappointment. In reality, you're doing a disservice to yourself and to anybody who might see your work in the future. You are the only one who can create your work in the exact way that you do. All of the skilled, super popular, and influential artists in our world could have made the thing that you're making, maybe even better than you could have imagined. However, they can't and they won't. You can't rely on someone bigger and better to make your dreams a reality, just as you can't rely on a potential audience to define your work. Create without confirmation, and when your work is done, enjoy your work, in spite of 0, 1, or 1 million people seeing it. You made something that has never existed before, and that could only have been made by you, and that is something that an empty audience can never take away from you.